Welcome to the Ohio Department of Aging's training on the procedure for providing alternative meal distribution with Older Americans Act funds. This training is part of a series of technical assistance opportunities to assist local area agencies on aging with implementation of the Older Americans Act programs. In 2024, the Administration for Community Living updated the Older Americans Act regulations, or OAA for short. These new regulations allow for meals to be served in a new alternative distribution mode, sometimes referred to as grab-and-go meals. The purpose of this training is to describe how OAA Title III C1 and C2 can be used for meals using alternative distribution modes, and describe the process required by area agencies on aging that choose to use OAA funds for alternative distribution modes. New Code of Federal Regulation, or CFR, changes for the Older Americans Act that impact nutrition services are listed here. The CFR allows providers to provide congregate meals, or Title III C1, via the following alternative meal options: shelf-stable, pickup, carry-out, drive-through, or similar. In addition, the CFR states that meals provided through these alternative modes are not to exceed 25% of the C1 funds by the state or area agency after all transfers are complete. For OAA Title III C2, funds allow for home-delivered meals to be delivered via home delivery, pickup, carry-out, drive-through, or similar mode. Now that alternative meal distribution modes are an option, there are a few procedures in order to do so. To use C1 congregate dining funds, a local area agency on aging, or AAA, must receive pre-approval from the Ohio Department of Aging. We will review the pre-approval form here shortly. In addition, alternative meal distribution may not exceed 25% of C1 funds after all transfers are complete. To use C2 home-delivered meal funds for alternative meal distribution, no additional steps or pre-approval is needed. There are no limitations on the amount of C2 funds that can be used for this alternative mode. If a AAA chooses to use C1 congregate dining funds for alternative meal distribution, this form must be submitted to the Ohio Department of Aging for pre-approval. Please submit this form on the WAN with all other local area plan materials. We'll go over the form now with examples of documentation. Question 1 asks the AAA to describe existing data and participation projections in alternative meal distribution or grab-and-go meals for the year. Provide details on how your agency will ensure the enhancement and deter from diminishing the congregate dining program, and a commitment to monitor the impact on congregate dining program participation. Examples could include current and projected congregate program participation, including number of sites, number of participants, and/or number of meals served monthly, previous experience in serving alternative meal distribution, and qualitative or quantitative data on a participant's request for alternate meal distribution. Question 2. Describe how your agency will monitor the impact on congregate dining program participation throughout the year. Examples include describing or attaching any data collection tools you'll be using. Describe how your agency will ensure that alternative meal distribution will not negatively impact participation in your congregate dining program. What strategies will your agency or provider take throughout the year to promote congregate dining? Question 3. Description of how provision of such meals will be targeted to reach those populations identified as in greatest economic need and greatest social need. Remember, greatest economic need means the need resulting from an income level at or below the federal poverty level and is further defined by state and area plans based on local and individual factors, including geography and expenses. Please refer to the Ohio Department of Aging's Operationalizing Greatest Social and Economic Need training, which provides the following tools: Places Better Data, Better Health from the CDC, Miami University Scripps Gerontology Center, Ohio Population Research Site, Ohio Department of Health's Social Determinants and Health Dashboard, and/or the Ohio Department of Health's Improvement Zone Dashboard. Question 4. Description of the eligibility criteria for this service provision. Examples include: how or will eligibility differ from your agency's existing congregate dining program? You could also describe or attach any data or eligibility tools that you plan on using. Question 5. Evidence of consultation with nutrition and other direct service providers, other interested parties, and the general public regarding the provision of such meals. Please describe or attach your agency's outreach plan to educate the service area on the availability and eligibility of alternative meal distribution. Question 6. Description of how provision of such meals will be coordinated with nutrition providers and other direct service providers and other interested parties. Please describe or attach your agency's implementation plan specific to the coordination, logistics, and distribution of alternative meals. Question 7. Established eligibility qualification for receiving grab-and-go meals during a disaster, on an occasional basis, and on a regular basis to assessed individual targeted for greatest economic and social need. Please note when your agency plans on utilizing alternative meal distribution, describe the criteria for which these meals will be provided. You may also describe or attach the qualifications for receiving meals in the above scenarios. Question 8. Demonstrate its allocation of no more than 25% of Title III C1 funds to pay for grab-and-go meals. Please estimate the amount of funds anticipated for alternative meal distribution in comparison to your total C1 funds after transfers. In order to stay true to the mission of the congregate dining program, here are some ideas on promoting socialization even when alternative modes of distribution are used. Offering a grab-and-stay picnic or tailgating events. Maybe you have intermittent phone calls with participants, especially at those risks for social isolation. You could even add virtual games or a group chat to those participants utilizing alternative modes. Thank you for watching this training on alternative meal distribution with Older Americans Act funds. Please contact the Elder Connections inbox at elderconnections@age.ohio.gov if you have any questions about nutrition services or alternative meal distribution.